We are here today on our status hearing.
I did speak with paternal grandmother. She does not know where Isaiah is. She said the last time she talked to him, he was on his way to New Mexico to try to get on a reservation. I have not been able to locate him. That's all that I have now.
She didn't know what reservation.
No. She did tell me that she is applying for a card for ICWA, and I did do the ICWA for the child, Ismail.
Maternal grandmother is applying.
Paternal.
Paternal grandmother. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry.
No.
You said that. I just heard it wrong. Okay. What about mom? She is now logged in with us. So, where are we on service plan? Everything's signed?
Yes, everything's signed. She's beginning services. She's began her visits. Those are going well. And the child is doing better as well.
All right, then, Mr. Perman.
Judge, to my knowledge, there's nothing to report. I think we're all doing good.
Okay, we got visits started with mom.
Yes, ma'am. She did miss her first visit because she had surgery.
Okay.
But she had her, so the second visit, which was her first visit, was last week.
Okay. She has drug tested for us, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Garcia, any concerns or any questions today? You're muted. You'll have to unmute.
I don't have any concerns. Everything's been going well. I'm still working on my service plan. I've got 5 parenting classes down. So I still do my NAs twice a week. I have my OSAR evaluation scheduled for tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I will be doing that tomorrow. And then I know everything's been going good. I had an Easter visit with the kids yesterday for an hour, and it went really, really well. But yeah, everything's going good. Jalen's doing a lot better. It's easier we have to separate now. So, but everything's getting better. The baby's doing great. A lot littler than I thought, but he's doing great. Everything's going great.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're off to a good start. So you know what to do. And so I'm glad things are going well. Ms. Zavala?
Ismail's doing very well. He did a week or two ago have to spend a little time in the hospital, but is doing much better. It was a respiratory issue, but is doing very well in placement. The one question I had may have just been answered, is just whether there was going to be sibling visits with the other sibling in a different case. It sounds like the visit yesterday included both of them, so I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. So what we did is Ismail gets 3-hour visits and Jalen gets 2. So she meets with Ismail an hour before, and then Jalen comes. So then both of them are together.
Sounds great. All right. That's all that I have.
All right, Ms. Garcia, this is just the time where I have to talk to you about your service plan. I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to repeat it. You know, failure to work those services can result in the kids not coming home. Failure to work services can result in termination of your parental rights. And, you know, nobody wants to go down that road. So just, you know that, and just keep doing what you're doing, get the services worked, and, you know, this will all turn out okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I will continue Ishmael's placement. And I'm going to order the service plans as an order of the court. I will see everybody back on August 1st of 2023 on a 9 o'clock docket for our initial permanency hearing. Okay, y'all have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Bailey Sapien on behalf of respondent mother Aurora Casada, and I have not been able to reach my client, so she is not present.
Jay Michelson on behalf of the father Jesse, and I have not had any contact with the father.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Jazarian.
All right, so first question, I read the report, service plans have been developed, have those been filed?
Yes, ma'am. They were filed on the March 13th.
Okay,
Parents have not signed them, but they were filed on the 13th.
right. Okay, anything then new from St. Francis since the court report was filed?
Yeah, so Jazarian is doing good and is improving. There's no concerns with him right now being in placement. We did receive a house study on the relative, but we do have a concern on one of the individuals residing that does have a criminal record. We do have to get a safety evaluation signed off by our program director, and it's currently under review. Jesse, I did receive a diligence search on Jesse, so I'm going to prepare myself to continue to make attempts and to send out letters to those locations. Aurora did come in yesterday. She did come into the office. We were able to pick her up at the location she provided, which was a hotel. She did provide the wrong room number. It was 3 doors down from what she had provided, but she did come out of the hotel room and come with us to the office. It was myself and a parent support worker. After she had exited the room, I did observe a curtain being slid over from the side of the room, indicating someone could be in the room. When she was with me, I did ask her who was in the room, and she said it could be her friend's, it might be her friend's boyfriend, which her friend was currently at work. So it was concerning. We didn't get a clear answer on who was in the room. She did say she has not had contact. Well, she's had contact with Jesse, but has not seen him in about 2 weeks. We did take her to the St. Francis office, and I went over a family plan of service. After each service, I asked her if there was any questions. She didn't have any questions. She did sign the family plan of service. I do need to get that e-filed today. Afterwards, we took her to get a drug screen, which she agreed to do. We took her and she got a hair follicle and a UA. We are currently waiting on those results still, since it was just completed yesterday. Also, Judge, she did note that there was a hearing today. I did let her know via text and in person yesterday. I even emailed her yesterday afternoon, providing her with her attorney's contact information, phone number, address, and email. So she was aware of that.
Physically, how did mom look?
She looked okay. She said she had just woken up because she looked a little bit out of it, but she had been texting with me like an hour or two prior to that. So she looked okay. She did say she was confident about the drug screen, that she would not be positive on it.
Did she say anything more about going to inpatient treatment?
Yes, she does want to do inpatient treatment. She wants to be able to do that. And she said afterwards, she would rather not return to Amarillo. It's probably best for her not to stay in Amarillo, but she does want to do that. Also, Judge, she did say she's residing in Canyon, that she only came down and stayed at the hotel for our meeting yesterday. She says she lives with a friend in Canyon. However, she has not provided the address yet, and she was supposed to send that to me once she got back, because she was going to return yesterday to Canyon. And it's concerning because we don't know where she's residing actually. I did let her know I would have to go to her residence to verify that she is living there as well, but I have not received an address from her.
What motel was it that you found her at yesterday?
The Rest Inn off of I-40.
And you have that room number?
Yes,
Would you provide that to Ms. Sapien?
I will. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Sapien, any information?
No, Your Honor, I do not have any information. I just have a question for the worker. The number that you were texting Aurora on, is that the same number from the inception of the case?
Double check. I can send you that phone number that I've been texting with her as well. Would you like that one?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
Nothing else from me, Judge.
All right, Mr. Michelson?
Thank you. Ms. Kaufman, have you had any contact at all with the father?
None.
Okay, so you don't have an address or telephone number for him?
I don't have an address for him. I can get you the most recent one that we have.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No further questions, Judge.
All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, as was reported, Jazarian's doing really well. I believe this was already put in place last time, but I would ask that because of the previous exposure, that before any visits start, that we have a clean drug test for mom. And we're still waiting on ECI to start, but that's in the works. So that should be going soon. I'm thrilled that there are family members interested. I would just ask that he not be moved until I get a chance to see that as well.
Sure. It sounds like they've got some work to do on this home study. So Ms. Kaufman, just be sure and keep Ms. Zavala apprised of that.
Yes, Judge.
This was this on, was it a great aunt to the child, Ms. Sandoval?
It was, Judge.
Okay. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the child's current placement. I'm going to order the service plans as an order of the court. And our initial permanency hearing will be held on July 25th,
Department at Mickey
of
Lane.
2023
Specialist
at the
that.
9 o'clock docket.
Joe Mark Wilson for the mother, Diana Pelt, and we're both present and ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Lily.
Okay. All right. What do we have new since the court report was filed?
Okay, so Lily's currently in a psychiatric hospital. They're working with her on her aggressive behaviors. They have concerns that mom is some part of her behavioral acting out, and they may have her too medicated. So they had taken off, I believe it's Seroquel. They stopped it to see how she would react. Lily's individual counselor recommended therapeutic visits with mom, including phone calls starting out, as the placements, both Clarity and Hill Country Youth Ranch, have concerns regarding mother's interactions with Lily. And so the individual counselor, me as the caseworker, the courtesy worker, Clarity, and Hill Country Youth Ranch have all talked to Miss Diana Pelt and have tried to explain to her this. However, she keeps calling or emailing or going to other people. Especially on the weekends. She drove all the way to Clarity after she stated that a visit was going to occur on this day and that she had the right to see her child, without the counselors or I being able to set up that visit safely. And so we're having a lot of trouble there so that we could get to the rest of the bottom of Lily's behaviors and get her situated.
So have we started any therapeutic visits?
No, the individual counselor, once she was told she was going to reach out to mom. However, Lily was then put back into the psychiatric hospital with Clarity. So she has not been able to have a therapeutic visit at this time.
All right, anything else? Let me ask, have we had any feedback over the change in medication?
No, that was on the 28th.
Okay, just very recently.
Yes, ma'am. She's been in and out of the psychiatric hospital. Also, Diana, she had concerns about Hill Country Youth Ranch. I did inform her to make a report for any concerns she has. Investigators went out on that weekend. Mom was sending multiple messages and phone calls to all of us, all the providers. So me and my parent support worker went out Monday morning after we had gotten all the information regarding that investigation to give mom an update. She stated she was in the shower and she was unable to meet, that we just showed up unannounced, which is things we do. I wanted to clearly inform her what was going on with Lily in person and talk to her that, Lily's okay and offer a virtual visit. However, mom has refused to meet us in person, has been very chaotic in speaking to providers about Lily, and she's either dismissing instructions from the providers or she's not willing to listen, and she has canceled several times to meet with us at her home in person on many occasions.
Okay, so we'll get to all that then. All right. All right, Mr. Wilson?
Your Honor, if I might, I think what our position is here is, I mean, we have some differences in opinion on what's occurred, but what we want to concentrate on is getting into a situation that where my client can have some visitation and work it in, whatever that is, with Lily. I think this was sort of a unique situation anyway, this case that we got involved in here. And that, you know, Ms. Pelt was looking for help, and the only way we could get any help was under the circumstances, was for CPS to take custody of the child. And then she feels like she's being shut out at that point. I understand from the caseworker standpoints of it, they've got a lot to do. They've got other things they've got to do. They can't micromanage with her, and we're trying to work through that. And so we would just ask that everybody concentrate on keeping the line of communication clear, that we get her as much contact with Lily as we can to try to fix whatever situation is going on. And I'll, if there's other issues, I'll address those with Ms. Pelt. We'll provide those to the department in the court at a later date if we think that it's not going that direction. But we would like to recenter and get everybody on the same page and go forward. One thing I'd like to clarify is that there's been a couple of emails I've seen back and forth where basically Ms. Pelt's been told that she'll get whatever information she gets. And I do want to be clear that I do understand her possession is limited by the court order, but she has every right as a parent and under the court order to have access to any information regarding Lily's treatment and to be able to consult whenever she wants to with any of her providers. Now, there's obviously a line of appropriateness that a person shouldn't cross, and so we'll try to keep it to that. But that she has the right to try to contact these people and talk to them and verify on her own. And I just want that to be clear to everybody that that's in the orders.
And I appreciate that, Mr. Wilson. You can discuss this, in greater detail with your client. But Ms. Pelt, all I can say is that my experience is that 10 phone calls to somebody does not get you a return call any faster than one well-placed call with a message about what you need. Same with text messaging. In fact, I think it tends to have the opposite effect on people if they are just bombarded. It's human nature that we, somebody is doing that we finally just sort of put the brakes on and say, okay, that person is not going to dictate my life, not going to dictate my day. I have certain things I have to do today, and I'll get to that person when I get to that person. Now, whether that's right or not, but I'm just telling you, it's kind of the way it is. So if I were you, I would be, judicious in how I contact these people. And, if they begin to deem that you are wasting their time, then that's when things really fall apart. So just use discretion about how often you're contacting. Visitation with Lily at this point, is supervised, and those things have to be scheduled and they have to be set up. So you can't just show up down there. That's not going to work. You've got to allow the department access to your home. That's part of the deal. So, we are involved because the child needed help. We are involved because you had either exhausted your resources or just they weren't available to you for whatever reason. And so, the department has stepped in, and when the department steps in, then that means you have to do, unfortunately, you have to do some things their way. But the fact remains is that we have an 8-year-old that is experiencing serious issues. And, you know, we're going to do our best to try to help your family and get to the bottom of that. But we got to have everybody's cooperation. So let these folks in your home, meet with them. You know, they have the right to come for an unannounced visit. They're not going to all be unannounced visits, but they have the right to do that. So, all right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, Lily is definitely struggling. I will say this about placement. This is probably the best placement I've interacted with in terms of communication. I get notified on every single one of the incident reports, and they're happening regularly. They do seem to happen more often around times with mom. I was able to Zoom with her. It's been a while. We were trying to set one up and she's going back and forth to Clarity. But she was actually in the middle of the incident when our scheduled Zoom was. The worker took the phone and held it for me and let me talk to her until she calmed down enough to take the phone herself. And then they gave us complete privacy. They let Lily give me a full tour of the place. So I like the openness and the communication that we're receiving from them. It makes me have some level of assurance because she is having a hard time. But I feel like they're doing their best to try to get that under control. So I do think some sort of therapeutic schedule of visits would be helpful in this situation.
So as soon as we've kind of got Lily stabilized and back in her placement on a full-time basis, you know, then let's definitely move forward with the therapeutic visits. And, you know, we'll just take it from there. Baby steps.
And you judge, if I may, I think that's where the department is on it. They just needed the time to get the child stabilized and get figured out exactly how they needed to handle situations with her going back and forth between placement and hospital. And that's the main thing is we just they needed the time to get all that straightened out before they could get this all lined up with mom. If I may, there's also I believe some paperwork that mom was supposed to finish filling out for I believe it was a psychological that was not completed yet. If we could ask mom to get that completed or meet with at the department to try to get that paperwork completed.
What to do?
Is it paperwork or is it the bridge?
Yeah, Daniel, can y'all tell? I mean, there was, I think she was going to do a psychological one place at Stonebridge or something, and then that changed, right? Or
yeah, we're having to have her check.
Yeah, I think it was rescheduled twice. I think there's been some communication issues there on getting it rescheduled. I think they've tried to get it rescheduled twice and get her there. But if we can get a phone call with her and just, you know, get it set up to where we can get a meeting set in time to get that done.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And has she signed her service plan?
Yes.
Okay then. All right, so Ms. Pelt, this is a stage of this process that I have to tell parents this. I'm not picking on you. I have to do this at every status hearing. Okay, failure to work your service plan can result in the child not coming home. In worst case scenario, that can result in termination of your parental rights. It is one of the grounds and one of the bases to make that request. So, you know, nobody wants to go down that road. You know, we absolutely don't want to go down that road. So just understand those services are really important. I'm going to order that the service plans become a part of a court order today. So they're just like any other court order. I expect you to abide by it. Expect you to get those things done. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue Lily's current placement, order the services, like I said, as an order of the court. And we'll be back for our initial permanency hearing on August 1st of 2023 on a 9 o'clock docket. My hopes are that you and Lily will be well into therapeutic visits and maybe even, you know, just regular visits at that point in time. So, parents, I'll see everybody cooperating. participated in their service plan development. So what do we have new since the report was filed? Are y'all hearing feedback?
Yes, ma'am. A little bit.
I don't know where it's coming from. Mr. Reyes, I'm going to mute your device just to see if it's coming from there somehow. Okay. All right. So what do we have new?
They did participate in their drug screen. They've signed their plans. I know we're working to set up services, but they've been going to their weekly visits as well as scheduled. So.
Can I get a question?
Ariel doing okay?
Yeah, she just went to her wellness check yesterday, actually. She's gaining weight. She can't eat as much as her stomach can hold right now. So they're going to try to give her some cereal with her food and see if that helps out. But she's doing well other than that.
Mr. Trott, you were saying something. I apologize.
I did, John. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things with Ms. Cook real quick. Ms. Cook, you said that parents have drug screened.
Yes, they've
When
gone
was-
to their.
When was the last time they screened?
The last drug screen was on March 13th.
And those were, did they come back clean?
No, they both came back positive for methamphetamine and amphetamines.
Okay. And you said that they're having weekly visits right now?
Yes,
Are those in-person visits, virtual? How are they doing those?
they're in visit or in person at the St. Francis office.
Okay. Is there any concern? I would think there'd be a little bit of concern with drug screens being almost a month old or 2 or 3 weeks old and in-person visits with such a young child. Do we have concerns on that? Are we sending them to visit regularly?
Yeah, so foster mom has reported after the visits that Ariel can be a little grouchy, a little whiny. She hasn't been shaking like she was in the beginning, but
Okay.
are some issues.
Judge, I would kind of recommend that we get a clean drug screen before we do in-person anymore, just due to the age of the child and the positive birth on this child, with parents using or having used recently, I guess, if they still had fairly high levels back 2 weeks ago, if we figure visitations out.
I'm looking, these were both hair tests. Did we do UAs, Ms. Cook? I'm not seeing.
We have not done a UA.
Okay.
And Judge, I would at least ask for a UA and a hair follicle be ordered today.
Yeah. Let's get UAs. And if those are clean, then I'll allow them visits to continue, you know, as long as those UAs stay clean and the hair levels are dropping. Right. And Ms. Martinez and Mr. Reyes, the reason for that is that the child can absorb methamphetamine by skin-to-skin contact. So as long as you all are tested positive for that stuff, you know, I don't have a real good feeling about you handling a baby, you know, because particularly with an infant, it's a problem. If your UAs are negative, then I will allow you to visit. Like I said, and as long as those stay negative and our hair level drops. But if you all go up on those tests, we're going to have a problem. Okay. It's just not healthy for the baby. So I hope you understand that. So do you think your UAs will be negative? You're both muted, so I can't hear either one of you. If you can unmute your devices.
But I'll be completely honest with you, mine probably will not be negative. They will top more likely test positive.
Have you used recently?
I can work on it. I can work on it, and that's the best I can do.
When was the last time you
can't
used?
quit. I can't quit. I don't feel I need rehab. I can't quit. It's just I just haven't really. I've been going through a lot of things, which really just adds on to a bunch of stress and makes me want to use, you know. But I can, you know, I can definitely.
Well, there's other things. I mean, there's lots of different drug treatment programs, Mr. Reyes. You don't have to go to inpatient. You can try doing outpatient. Counseling. I mean, there's a lot of ways to tackle this problem. But
Yes, ma'am.
when you tell me that you can quit on your own, I power to you. But I'm just telling you, methamphetamine is a very, very addictive substance.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a very difficult substance for people to quit using. Like worse than heroin.
I've had I had a relapse, I guess. I had quit for 2 years. I had quit cold. So I mean, I've done it before. Sure I can.
Okay. But that's also part of the problem with the methamphetamine is it does tend to be a cycle. So you got to make a decision. You're either going to be a father or you're going to be a drug user. It's that simple.
Okay.
You can work all these other services, but if you can't stay away from the drugs, I won't send the child home to you.
Understood.
And we're going to talk about that some more in a minute. Ms. Martinez, I'm going to mute you again, Mr. Reyes. Hang on. Ms. Martinez, can you unmute? And Mr. Reyes, I appreciate your candor and your honesty.
Okay, I got it.
All right, Ms. Martinez, what do you think your drug screen? What's going to show on you?
It's going to be ALP positive. I'm just going like Gabriel is. I'm stressing out too. I mean, it's hard just to have them people just try to take my child, and yeah, I'm just stressed out. But I can clean up also. I've done it before.
So exactly what I said to him.
Yeah.
Y'all get professional help. We're offering that to you. That's available to you.
Right.
You're not going to have to pay for it. I mean, now is the time. And
Okay.
and it's the same thing. You're either going to be a mom or you're going to be a drug user.
You're right. Yes, ma'am.
Those are the two choices.
Right.
So
I'm willing to.
okay. Well, if both of you, if your UAs are dirty, I'm going to stop the visits for a while until we get clean drug screens. That is not meant to punish you all. It's
Right.
not. I hope it'll give you motivation to get clean, but it is to
Right.
protect the safety and health of the baby. Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to tell you this at some point. I might as well do it right now. Failure to work your service plans, failure to get sober, failure to remain clean and sober could prevent me from sending the child home to you. In worst case scenario, I can terminate your parental rights for failure to work the services. Okay. So, you've got to take this stuff really seriously if you want to be parents, and I'm sure you do. You've got to get a handle on it. And like I said, you can take all the parenting classes in the universe, but if you can't stay off drugs, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So, right. So you've been honest with me, which I appreciate. I really do. And I commend you for just saying it like it is. And we will all get along a whole lot better through the course of this case if you're honest. And so I appreciate it.
Your Honor, may I ask real quick on the drug screens, do you want just UAs today or do we want to do a hair follicle set a baseline from today?
We can do another we had hair on, but we could do another hair and let's just kind of see. Well, you know what? Really no point. I mean,
Okay.
they've both admitted that they've used.
Yes,
So let's wait and we'll get a hair later down the line and see if those levels are coming down.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, they both admitted. I don't know that there's any point in even sending them for a UA today.
Okay.
So just understand, parents, so at some point in time, Ms. Cook's gonna call you and she's gonna say, you gotta go for a drug test. And you need to go do it whenever she asks for that. Failure to go is deemed a positive result. So you've admitted it to me, so there's really no point in sending you guys today.
Okay.
But those will be random and they will be coming. Okay.
Understand.
Mr. Hammonds, anything else today, sir?
No, Judge, I'd just like to ask Ms. Martinez, are you working anywhere right now?
No.
I noticed your hand is wrapped up. I mean, have you recently been injured?
Oh yeah, I've been moving. I've been helping Gabriel move, and I sprained it because I picked up something heavy.
Okay. Nothing else, Judge.
All right, Mr. Novak.
Thank you, Judge. Nothing other than to emphasize what the court just said to Martha and Rudy or Gabriel is everyone in this courtroom wants you to win. Everything is being offered to you for free. This is your shot, guys, and you cannot get sober and stay sober without professional help. It just can't be done. And I'm here, Rudy. You've got my number. That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, so you both have outstanding attorneys. Utilize that. Take advantage of that. Listen to what they tell you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, Ariel is doing very well. My only concern has already been addressed, was just making sure we had those clean UAs before visits. But she is doing very well in placement.
And Judge, just so I'm clear to what I'm putting in the order, visits will stop until we get clean drug screens, correct?
Correct. Clean UAs.
Yes, ma'am.
And we see that hair level is dropped.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I'll continue placement. Order the service plans is an order of the court. And our next hearing will be on August 1st of 2023, and that'll be a 9 o'clock docket. So Mr. Reyes and Ms. Martinez, I can't stress again, Ms. Martinez, especially if you're not working, now would be the time to go to inpatient and really do intensive treatment, but I'm going to leave that decision to you, but I'm just suggesting it would be a really good time to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Same for you, Mr. Reyes. I mean, y'all, you understand. I mean, you've only got a limited amount of time to get this stuff done. So the clock's ticking. All right, then I'll see everybody back August 1st. We'll go ahead and take announcements. So best of
Xavier
luck.
Trout for the department, and Andrea Gallahue is my privacy specialist today.
Stacy Zavala for Naomi.
What do we have new since the court report was filed, Ms. Gallahue?
Naomi's doing great. She is thriving. She's gaining weight. She's looking really good. What's new is Mom, we have lost touch with Dad. Again, I was setting up virtual visits for him and we lost contact with him. But Mom is currently in Randall County. She has bail jumping with failure to appear, a rearrest of a controlled substance greater than 1 gram, and then a rearrest for hinder apprehension to a known felony. There is not a release date at this time for her.
All right, so since Mother is currently incarcerated, then Miss Katie, I think we need to go ahead and make an appointment to her. Even though she's not ever come down or made a request, but now that we know she's incarcerated, she'll automatically qualify. So we will appoint Mom an attorney while we know where she is. Okay, so no contact with that then.
No, I did see him at the beginning of March for just a few minutes, showed him pictures of his baby, a video of him, of the baby turning over. He was excited. His mom was excited. And I got his phone number and we were setting up virtual visits, and then boom, he disappeared. His phone number is disconnected and he's gone.
Okay. Mom have any knowledge about where he might be?
No. They basically stay hid because they're afraid the police are going to arrest them. So if they see us coming, they run from us too.
All right. Well, needless to say, I doubt we've made any progress on services.
None whatsoever. They agree to them, but that's about it. And I do know that I worked a case for Mom previous, and it's the same issues. She seems to be trapped in a cycle.
All right. Ms. Zavala, anything to report?
No, she's with a great family. She's really making great strides. I've got no concerns about her. And this really doesn't sound like it will become an issue, but if parents do resurface or get released, I would ask for a drug screen before any in-person visits, but it may not be an issue.
I think we ordered that at the status hearing.
I feel like we did.
Yeah, I have a note, continue no personal contact with parents unless negative drug tests. So I think we're covered already on that. So is child in foster home or relative home?
Foster home.
Foster.
I know this is early, but are they adoption motivated?
Probably not. However, there are some family connections that may lead to a possible adoptive home. And I feel like that could be a really good thing for her.
Okay. But they have some kind of family connections?
I believe some family friends are interested in becoming licensed. And so they've spent time with her and would have that connection with her when they go through that licensing process. I don't believe it's been started yet, but I think they are very interested in doing so.
Okay. All right. So not family to the child, but family to the foster.
I believe family friends to the fosters. Yes.
They go to church together.
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, that's better to have that option than not. I'll continue the department temporary managing conservator, and I'll continue placement. And we'll see what develops. I'm real inclined to set the August 1st hearing as a final.
I was going to ask.
No objection to that.
I was going to ask if we could just get this moving on.
I mean, that'll give mom's attorney plenty of time to talk with her, but let's go ahead and set it as a final. We'll see, our dismissal date isn't until October. So if we have to push it out, we will, but for now, that will be our final. August 1st, 2023 on 9 o'clock. All right. What do we have new since the court report was filed?
Good morning, Your Honor. Aaliyah was placed back with Stephanie Ferguson and Nick Bontemps on the 27th of January. Everything during that reunification process had been going pretty well. Aaliyah does have some behavioral issues that I was telling Stephanie at the time how well that she was doing with just redirecting her, and it's a big adjustment to get her back, but they were doing really well, and Aaliyah was doing well in placement. On March 13th, Stephanie did verbally admit to me that they had used marijuana on March 10th. So they had used the Friday prior, and they had called me Monday morning and admitted to me about the marijuana use. This was due to just them having a little bit of stress whenever they had Aaliyah back. One of the things that was helping was that they got her placed in an early head start, which kind of gave her a little bit of time to get, school going and everything like that. So to my understanding, it was kind of just the stress was a little bit of an issue there, but they were trying to do things to make it a little bit better. And then they had, verbally admitted that they had used marijuana. So March 13th, we went ahead and staffed it with everybody, and we did a removal of Aaliyah from the home. She's now placed with her previous foster parents. We don't have any concerns about, her well-being at this point. She's doing well. They're getting weekly visits, everything like that. The day that we had removed, we sent Stephanie and Nick to go and do a hair follicle screen. Stephanie's came back positive. Nick's test was canceled. His hair follicle was canceled due to no issue of his own. I called and confirmed the drug testing site, and there was a barcode error, which messed up the chain of command, and then they couldn't take the test any further. So we did send them to UA that last month as well on the 23rd. Stephanie's was negative aside from her hydrocodone, which she's provided a prescription for me. Nick's was negative as well. Since then, since the removal of Aaliyah, It's been 4 weeks and they've both attended 2 AA meetings, or twice a week AA meetings for those 4 weeks. They're both in the Padre drug risk treatment classes. They're attending those. I spoke to the counselor doing those classes. He said that they're working really hard doing everything that they need to be doing. Stephanie is starting up individual counseling, and along with the issue of just her having some anxiety, she got prescribed medication just to kind of help with that. While she was removed from their care, the department's goal is still family reunification at this time. I really do believe that these two parents they messed up, they've taken accountability, and they're doing everything that they can to move forward. So we still want to see Aaliyah back with them at some point. If she is placed back with them, I just wanted to let the court know that she still has a place with Delois Hinders. She was attending play therapy every week. They're making sure that she's at all of those appointments, so we could continue those back if she is placed. And also, she still has a spot in the Early Head Start program.
Okay, well, let me just say to both of you right now, I appreciate your honesty. Okay, because the truth is, none of this works very well if we're not all honest with one another. So I know that's hard, and because the child moved again, but I appreciate your honesty. And let's just all take a deep breath and, try to reinforce some things with you all, and that'll maybe help you make better choices moving forward. So not the worst hiccup in the world. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't beat yourselves up. Just what you've done, you've owned it, you've admitted it, and you're trying to deal with it. So that's all you can do. All right, Ms. Lucero.
All right, Michaela, at this point, if Aaliyah were to be placed back with Stephanie in the home there with them, do you have any concerns for her safety with them?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. And does St. Francis, do y'all oppose placing her back with them even as early as today if possible?
No, ma'am.
And has Stephanie advised you that that's what she'd like, is for her to go ahead and go back home as soon as possible?
Can you repeat that one more time?
I'm sorry. No, you're fine. And did Stephanie advise you that that's what they want, that they're hopeful that the court today will place Aaliyah back with them?
Absolutely. Yes,
okay, because we're coming up on, I believe in June is the dismissal date for this case, right?
Yes, ma'am. I think the final was set June 6th or something.
Okay.
Like that.
And would you agree with me if it's possible to place her back today, then they could, continue the play therapy. She'll still have a spot in Head Start, and they can just continue to move forward the way they have been.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michaela, have you had any contact with Mr. Dizzler since the last hearing?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay. And has Mr. Dizzler been involved in the case despite being in prison?
Not necessarily. He hasn't remained in contact with his caseworker, and I haven't been provided of any services that he has taken in prison, so I would say no.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. And did we get genetic testing back on him?
I believe so, Your Honor.
I believe we did, Your Honor. I just got to go back and look at it when it was.
Well, is that why we're dismissing Mr. Novak and the unknown father out?
Yes, ma'am. I believe so.
I got results back March 20th saying that he was the father when I was the worker on the case.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So since the last hearing, it's got word to us that he is out of prison. And one of my friends contacted me and said that he was trying to get my phone number. He sent Nicholas a friend request on Facebook. So I do believe he is out of prison or the halfway house or whatever, but there hasn't been anything further than that.
And I believe that's what Michaela's situation is, Your Honor. He's not showing up on the prison logs anymore, but he has not contacted Michaela.
Okay. All right, then, Mrs. Zavala. What is your take on all this?
Your Honor, I was able to go and watch a 2-hour visit with Stephanie and Nicholas with Aaliyah. They all responded very well to each other. There was no fear or hesitation on her part. They were able to redirect her very well, but unfortunately it was a 2-hour visit in a place with not a lot to do. And they were able to keep her occupied and focused. I had no concerns with that interaction. It seemed like it was handled very well. It does appear that they have taken responsibility for the slip up. I think they're doing what they need to make sure that that is corrected. At this time, I really have no objection with moving forward again towards reunification and trying to see if we can make that work.
Okay. All right, I'm good with it. Let's give it another try. But let's be successful this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing servitor, and I will place the child back with Ms. Ferguson. We are set for our final June 6th, 2023 on a 9 o'clock docket. Our dismissal date is June 9th. So that should give us sufficient time to see how things are going to go. So anyway, we'll just get her home as quick as we can.
We appreciate it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Baker will coordinate that with you, Ms. Ferguson, and about when she's going to get her home and everything. So, okay, I wish y'all the best of luck. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Daniel Tribe from the department, and then Darius Ray is my primacy specialist today.
Natalie Archer for the mother, Piper Abbott.
Vince Nowak for Matthew Beard, and we are present and ready, Judge.
Joel Jackson for Bill Taylor on behalf of the unknown father, present, ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children.
Okay. What do we have new since the court report was filed?
The things that we have new, Judge, is that Matthew Beard, he was able to get me his check stubs. I wasn't able to get those filed in time. So he is working. He's working at Walmart. Piper is no longer working due to her pregnancy. And the youngest child, Midnight, she just recently got strep throat. And so she's currently on some antibiotics right now, trying to get back healthy. And then the oldest child, Winter, the foster parent has got a GI appointment scheduled today for her to go see a gastroendocrinologist. She's going today to that appointment.
Okay. When's mom due?
July.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ray, what have our recent drug screens reflected?
They were all reflected positive for marijuana, Your Honor.
Have we gotten any negative drug screens?
No, ma'am, not since they've been involved with the department.
Okay, Ms. Abbott, are you getting any prenatal care?
Yes, ma'am. At Texas Tech.
Okay. Has anybody talked to you about the dangers of using marijuana while you're pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. My doctor, she actually told me that if it helps me eat and stuff, then to use it. But I mean, I've stopped smoking recently. I've stopped smoking like a week. What was it ago? 2 weeks?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We've stopped smoking marijuana. So.
All right, then, Ms. Archer.
So my client has 2 parenting classes left and I believe 3 drug classes left. And then she updated you that she has stopped smoking marijuana, which is great. And that's pretty much my update.
Okay. All right, Mr. Nowak.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Ray, I just have a quick question for you, for Matthew. I recognize that the positive marijuana test is bad, and I've talked to my client about that. Other than that, what does Matthew lack? And the reason I'm asking Mr. Ray is because we're set for a final trial on June 15th. And I want to make it crystal clear to Matthew what he needs to do between now and then, other than obviously stopping smoking weed, marijuana, sorry.
Essentially, he's lacking all of his services. He did do a psychosocial and I believe a OSAR, but those things, even though he did them, there were follow-up recommendations. So basically, even though he did those services, they were requesting more services from that. And with his parenting classes, he has been going. He started back going, but he hasn't completed it yet. And he also hasn't completed the drug class yet. And I believe the drug class is one of the recommendations from the OSAR. As far as with the psychosocial, I believe both him and Piper were able to get couples counseling set up through that. And so I'm not sure when they're going to begin that, but they did get that set up.
Thank you, sir. Judge, that's all I needed from Mr. Ray. And Matthew, you heard all that. We'll talk about this when we're finished. Thank you.
Okay, so sounds like we still have a whole lot of stuff to do before June. So Ms. Abbott, Mr. Beard, y'all really need to get going on this stuff. You're going to run out of time.
We do have the counseling sessions scheduled for April 11th. Our first one is for April 11th, and then we'll do that every month.
Have either of you done any individual counseling?
No.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Jackson.
Your Honor, Mr. Taylor reports he's not made any headway in trying to locate the unknown father. There's just no leads to go on. And the mother couldn't provide any information in that regard.
Okay. Mr. Novak, is your client contesting paternity of Midnight?
Matthew, are you Midnight's father?
Yes.
There you go, Judge. We're not contesting it.
All right. Does he want me to go ahead and adjudicate him today?
Matthew, the judge is going to say right now, unless you object, the judge is going to say that you are Midnight's father. Is that okay with you?
Of course, yes.
Yes, Judge.
Sure. All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I want to talk a little bit about dietary restrictions. I know at the last hearing, or I believe, based on my notes from the last hearing, that we discussed a note from an endocrinologist that talked about no sugary sweets, drinks, foods, junk food. I had believed that was talked about in depth at the last hearing. I believed that parents were given the information not to bring that. But it appears that they continued bringing juice and things that Winter did not need to be exposed to, either of the girls. We've got a new doctor's note from February 23rd that it again says not to do that. We've got a GI evaluation this afternoon. If I am wrong and parents weren't aware of that information, that's one thing. But if they were aware of the health issues, they were told not to do it, and they continue to do it, that is a big concern for me. I do believe that that's been taken care of in terms of they're no longer bringing any snacks to visits. But you know, Winters had really bad diarrhea and has a hard time gaining weight, things like that. And it does concern me if parents can't follow the simple instructions for basic visits. So we should have more information from the GI visit this afternoon. And so while it may seem like a little issue, it's important to know the bigger context in terms of this child needing medical intervention and regular care. And so we need to follow those rules. I do think for right now that's been stopped because parents are no longer bringing any food or drink to visits.
Can we, after the GI visit, maybe would it be possible, Mr. Ray, for placement to put together a list of what would be appropriate snacks for parents to bring to the visits?
What we currently got in place, and it just started, I believe, like a week or two ago, is that St. Francis is going to provide all the snacks. We got a list of snacks that the foster mom provides the girls, and those are the snacks that we went out and bought, and those are what's supposed to be given at the visits. And we are still currently, we're going to try to find a service for the parents to take a nutritional course, We just haven't had them do that yet, given that it's still so much that they already need to do.
I understand.
Judge, if I may, we've noticed that whenever they do reschedule a visit or like the visit gets canceled or anything like that, we do realize that there is no change in her diapers, diarrhea regardless, and we'll go 2 weeks without seeing them and there's no change in the diarrhea. So I just wanted to put that out.
Well, and just like y'all said in the last court, y'all said for us to stop bringing fast food and everything. So we stopped bringing fast food and we started bringing food up to the house and cooking it with them. So, and nothing ever changed.
Yeah.
And so, and we even changed the milk and started getting her lactose milk.
Like they asked. So.
Okay, well, it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like we're just still working the problem to me. I mean, if we're going to a GI, that means no matter what placement's done or you all have done, we don't have it under control yet. So let's get through this appointment, see what the recommendations are. You know, I mean, it may be a process of elimination of, you know, certain things from the child's diet. I don't know. So that's all we can do. So communication, you know, make sure parents know what comes out of that appointment, and you know, everybody follows the doctor's instructions. So okay, all right then. At this time then, Mr. Beard, I am going to adjudicate you as the father of Midnight and establish the parent-child relationship between the two of you. So you are the official dad now. All right, then.
Thank you.
Then I'll see everybody back June 15th.
Judge, I had a question.
Yeah.
I apologize, but I was a little confused with Matthew being stated as the father. Was this supposed to be for Midnight or for Winter?
I have him listed as the alleged father of Midnight.
Okay.
Only Midnight.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. I showed that Winter's father is unknown. So unless mom can shed any more light on that, then he will remain as an unknown. All right, then I'll see everybody back June 15th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Y'all have a good night. So
Thank you, Judge.
thanks for how many witnesses we got today?
I would have 2, Your Honor, and I believe we can make an announcement on part of this case.
Okay, that'd be great.
You want me to go ahead and take?
Sure.
I spoke with Mr. Murphy yesterday. Department's asking for PMC to the department and possessory to the mother. We will go ahead and prove up on the unknown father at this time and terminate the rights on that one, but leave mother as possessory. We're not asking for any child support or medical support at this time. I think they are we're wanting to continue working with mother and child and try to get things better on that relationship. Would like to go ahead and let the court know also. I found out this morning the child ran away last night, yesterday. And so I think she and another child ran away. The other child turned herself in. They're still looking for Chloe at this time. So.
Okay. All right, there. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's my understanding, all parties, I believe Marissa said she's talked to mom, so parties know that this is happening. So.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Murphy, is this just what your client's agreeing to?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Ms. Ratliff, obviously, you don't really have a dog in that fight, but.
No, ma'am, no position.
And Ms. Naranjo, you believe that's in the best interest of Chloe?
Yes, I do.
And Ms. King, do you also believe that's in the best interest of Chloe?
Yes, Your Honor. Casa has spoken with the mother and she wants to continue to try to work her services. And Chloe has expressed to us as well that she wants to be with her mom. We are a little concerned, Your Honor, about the therapeutic services that have not really been provided to Chloe. We're hoping that the next placement, when we do locate her, is she will be placed with someone qualified to be able to provide what she needs so that she can get better.
Okay. I had read that, and so we were actively seeking another placement. Is that correct?
I believe that. Is that correct, Marissa?
Yeah, she was placed in Houston this month or March. I apologize. She was placed in Houston in hopes to get more of those services that she wasn't getting in Tennessee, but she was only there for about 2 weeks before she ran. So we haven't been able to get those services started yet.
Okay. Not a good place for a 14-year-old to be on the run. All right, then you can call your first witness.
We'd call Rodolfo Flores. Rudy, are you familiar with the case involving the child?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with that case?
I was the investigator in the case whenever we did the removal.
Okay. And this case started due to behavioral problems with the child and essentially was a wrapper case. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now you met and spoke with the mother?
Yes.
And what is the mother's name?
Amy Addington.
Okay. During your investigation, did the mother tell you who the father was of Chloe?
She did not know who the father was during my investigation.
Okay. Did she give any outlook of possibly who it could be?
She did not.
Okay. Now in your affidavits and in your investigative report, you allude to some paternity testing had been done but not found out, I believe. Is that correct?
Correct.
Was that prior to our case beginning?
That is correct.
Okay. So before our case began, was it something that mother had started trying to do? Did she do her own paternity testing? Is that what was going on?
Correct. She had done some prior paternity testing prior to our case. Yes.
Okay. All right. So just to clarify, before we got into this, mother had been trying to figure out who father was and having paternity testing done.
Correct.
And no, at no time during your investigation did she give you a name?
Correct.
Okay. It was always this, that the father was unknown.
Correct.
Did you ever speak with the child about this? Did the child ever mention if she knew who her father was?
But she did not.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Murphy, any questions for Mr. Flores?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Ratliff?
Yes, just a few. Mr. Flores, when you spoke with mom during the investigation and she mentioned this paternity testing that had been done, did she tell you who it was on?
I do not remember her specifically mentioning the names of the people that she had tried test or that she had run the test on.
Were those names provided to the conservatorship worker in this case?
I do not believe mom provided me any names during the investigation. So therefore, I did not provide any names to conservatorship.
Did she say how long ago the testing was?
If she did, I do not recall. I'd have to go back into my documentation to look that up.
Did she mention if that was part of a child support case, an AG case, if that testing had been done as part of an actual legal case?
I believe, yes, I believe it was part of a child support case.
Okay. But as far as you're aware, was your testimony that she hadn't gotten results back or she did receive results back?
She indicated that whoever she thought might be the father, they had tested and it came back that they were not the father.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Pass the witness.
Ms. Naranjo?
No questions.
All right, Mr. Trout, anything further of Mr. Flores?
Just a couple of real quick questions I kind of forgot to ask. Mr. Flores, when the department removed the child due to the wrapper, was that in the best interest of the child at the time?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. That's nothing further. Thank you, Mr. Flores.
Okay, anybody else have anything for Mr. Flores? Is he free to leave?
I have no
objection.
No objection.
All right, Mr. Flores, thank you. You're free to log out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, have a good day. All right. Call your next witness.
I call Marissa Herrera. Herrera, how are you employed?
St. Francis Ministries.
Do you know how old is the child right now?
She's 14,
And how old was she around removal?
about 12, 13.
So she was older than a year?
Yes.
Okay. Has department run a paternity registry search?
Yes.
Okay. Did it come back to any father having registered that you know of?
No, sir.
Judge, I'd ask that the court take judicial notice of the paternity registry search that was filed in this case on 12/21/21, identifying no father.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, I'll take judicial notice of the certificate of paternity registry search, which was conducted in this case and indicating that no one is registered as the father of Chloe Marie.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Herrera, during your time on the case, have you talked to the mother or the child about who possible father could be?
Yes, and they do not have a name.
Okay. Can you, besides doing that, have you done anything else to try to find out who the father was? I mean, I know there's not a lot to go on, but is there,
No, sir.
do you have any leads or anything leading to who a possible father could be?
No, sir.
Okay. So at this time, the father's identity is still completely unknown and location of a possible father is unknown.
Correct.
Is the department today asking the court to grant permanent managing conservatorship to the department, possessory conservatorship to the mom, as we spoke, we've agreed to, and no child support, no medical support from mother?
Correct.
And you believe that's in the best interest of the child?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to terminate the parental rights of any unknown father based on failure to register on the paternity registry search and no leads on who a possible father could be at this time?
Yes.
And you believe that is in the best interest of the child at this time?
Yes.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Murphy?
No questions, Your Honor.
And Ms. Ratliff?
Ms. Herrera, did mom ever mention to you that some prior genetic testing had been done, paternity testing on any individuals prior to the case starting?
No, she did not.
Okay. Are you aware if there was any pending or prior AG action to establish anybody as the father of this child?
No, ma'am.
Pass the witness.
Ms. Ronho?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, anything further, Mr. Trout?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, department rest.
Department rest, Your Honor.
Mr. Murphy? Any
Rest
witnesses?
as well, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Ratliff?
No witness, just rest.
Okay, and Mr. Ronho, any witnesses today?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
And do you have a recommendation to make?
Yes, I do recommend that it's in the best interest of the child that the unknown father's rights be terminated.
All right, and CASA?
Thank you, Your Honor. In speaking with the mother, she's never indicated to CASA who that she's given no names. And even after speaking with Chloe, she wants to know the name of her father, but she has no idea.
And I think CASA's already indicated that you all agree with the PMC to the department and continue to work with mom.
Thank you. Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right, then. At this time, I do find by clear and convincing evidence it is in the best interest of the child, Chloe Marie Addington, to terminate the parental rights, if any, with the unknown father under Texas Family Code, Section 161.002, subsection B2, is failure to register with the paternity registry, and find that his identity is wholly unknown. I will approve the agreement and find it is in the best interest of the child to name the department as permanent managing conservator. We'll name Amy Addington, the mother, as a possessory conservator. I'm not going to order any child support or medical support at this time. However, I am going to order specifically that mother will be ordered to complete any services that she has not completed in this underlying case. So her service plan will carry forward into the new case. And the department can look at whether they want to create a new service plan when we get to that point. But essentially, I want her to complete everything that has not been completed in the underlying case. I will at this time dismiss Mr. Murphy and Ms. Ratliff from the case. And Ms. King, do you all want to stay on?
Certainly, Your Honor, we do. We've developed a relationship with both the parent and with Chloe.
Okay. I think we could continue to use your help. So I'm in favor of that. Right, Casa will remain in the case and Ms. Naranjo will remain in the case at this time. So appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. I'll sign an order when you get it to me.
Family and Protective Services. And Your Honor, in light of bench conference we just had, I don't believe I'll be needing Miss Braden today. If we could release her today.
Okay, any objection, counsel?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, Ms. Braden, you're free to go. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Emily. I'll be back in touch with you.
PD Hammonds for the father, Ronald Wildy, were present and ready, Judge.
Natalie Archer for the mother, Shauna Wildy. We're ready.
Naranjo, guardian ad litem for the mother. I'm ready.
Stacy Zavala for Tim.
Okay, Mr. Wildy, I'm going to mute your device for now, just because we're getting some background noise. It just makes it hard for the court reporter.
I apologize. I'm on my phone now, so.
That's okay. No problem. We'll just put you on mute. All right. Mr. Trutt, if you want to pitch your extension.
Yes, ma'am.
So my understanding is the department is requesting an extension in the case.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The department will be requesting an extension on this case, Your Honor. There's still some issues that we need to work out before kind of final decisions are made from both parents' perspectives. We would like to see some more services worked and some more things completed and see where we stand on a couple of different issues. Both parents have some legal issues that we would like to see how they're going to play out before we start making any kind of permanency for the child due to possibilities of jail times. There's also, some issues with, we've had some issues with some visitations lately that have kind of messed with a few things. So we would like to make sure that whatever we're doesn't work with the child toward that it is at the right situation, and we need a little extra time to get that worked out.
All right. In my understanding from our bench conference, Ms. Wildy has checked herself into a rehab as of yesterday. She was logged in, but it appeared she's no longer. She may have had to, leave us, but she was logged in. And things had been going pretty well with Dad. So I'll find extraordinary circumstances exist to grant the extension, and we will set a new dismissal date. Looks like of April 10th of 2023. No, that was our current one.
The final dismissal date would be October 6th.
Okay, excuse me, October 6th. Yeah, 23. We'll discuss future hearing dates here in just a minute. But anyway, we'll go ahead and conduct a review hearing today. So if we want to go ahead and cover that ground, we can.
Yes, ma'am. And Darius Ray will be my pharmacy specialist today, right?
All right. Okay, Mr. Ray, what do we have new?
The only things we have new, Your Honor, is the mother reportedly was checked into a rehab center in Austin. I tried to call the rehab center that we were given. It might be the wrong one, but I tried to call and they informed me that she was not there. But like I said, it could be the wrong one. And then there are possible concerns due to somewhat suspicious behavior that both parents may potentially be using. So we would like to ask that we get a hair follicle and a UA ordered for both parents.
Ms. Archer, let me ask, I mean, have you had any way to confirm that she did arrive at rehab?
She texted me this morning that she arrived at like 1 or 2 in the morning this morning. So I'm not sure when Darius called, if it was yesterday or today. And then she texted me that she tried to log on here, but that her lunch was at noon and she had to log off before then.
Okay,
So
she was logged in. So.
Okay.
All right.
And Your Honor, I would just ask that after our hearing, if Ms. Archer can verify just through email with Darius that we have the right place and the right number.
Absolutely.
Ms. Ray, can we make arrangements to get her drug tested in Austin?
Yes, ma'am. I believe we can get that done.
Okay.
If she's in the rehab, I believe they would already do the drug testing.
They might not do the hair. They might, but they could probably do a UA for us.
Yes, ma'am.
But they would probably transport her to somewhere to do a hair test if we wanted to set it up. So, okay. Okay, anything else? Mr. Ray?
The only other thing is we are still kind of having trouble as far as finding a service to that we're in network in to benefit both the parents and the child, given that her autism diagnosis. The foster mom did state that there is a school that may potentially be able to provide some services, and they are further looking into that. We had already looked into it, but they weren't in network with us, and so we were trying to just figure some things out in that regards. But supposedly now they may potentially be trying to work something out where they can network, and we're just really hoping that we can get that going, because the child definitely needs those services, and the parents would need that help as well, and better knowing how to manage the child with her new diagnosis.
Agreed. Okay. All right then, Ms. Archer, anything to add today?
Nothing to add. I will verify where she is and let the parties know.
Okay, and Mr. Hammonds?
Judge, I'd like to ask Ronald a couple questions.
You bet.
All right, Ronald, I just want to update a few things. Are you still working at the city of Amarillo?
No, I'm with the apartment complex where I live.
And are they providing you with an apartment there?
Yes, sir, they are.
Okay, how long you been working for them?
About 6 weeks now, but I've been in the apartment complex since September.
Okay, now I want to talk to you just briefly about the last couple visitation periods. They were concerned that you were maybe having some reactions to some drugs. What was going on with the VA?
Well, with the VA has decided to take me off of one of my my seizure medications, and with my seizure medications, it kind of produces like a TD effect. It's not TD, but it kind of gives me the twitch because of my past drug use I've had before. But I'm more than willing and able to go down and give any type of test or anything I got to do. Once I know that I'm clean.
Okay, you understand, yeah, the judge can order a UA or a hair follicle today. You'll cooperate with that, but also get your prescriptions together so that you can show them to Idarius if he wants to see those.
Okay, I sure will.
All right. I have nothing other than that, Judge.
Okay. And Ms. Zavala? Or Ms. Naranjo, I apologize, Ms. Naranjo.
It's fine, Judge. I have nothing else to add. I would just ask Ms. Archer if she could reach out to Ms. Wild again about contacting me. Every time my office has reached out to Ms. Wild, she never returns my calls.
All right. Did we lose Ms. Archer?
It looks like.
No, I'm here, Judge.
There you are.
I'm here.
There you are. Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I really don't have much to add. I do think the drug testing is important just to make sure we figure out what's going on. But Tempe is doing great in placement, and they're working with her on all her needs. I do agree that if we're looking towards reunification with Dad, he needs to get some specific knowledge about how best to deal with the autism issues. And so I think that extension will give us some time to work on that.
Okay. All right, then. I'm gonna order drug testing for both parents. We'll do hair and UA. I don't know. Dad's hair's pretty short. Don't know whether we're gonna get that or not. They may be able to take it from his beard. And I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue placement. I am gonna set the final for June 20th of 2023 on a 9 o'clock docket. If things are going well, if things are progressing along well, then we can always push that back to keep working with everybody. But I just, hope mom's going to stay in rehab this time. And so we're just going to see how this goes. So even though I've extended the case, that may not mean we get full 6 months. I'll see everybody back in June.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge.